Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Cobra here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I got something every player is going to need, the best settings for Battlefield 6 Beta. Now, whether you're just starting out or deep in the grind, these settings will help give you that extra edge. Let's get to it. Now, to access your settings, you're going to want to go ahead and tab over to the cogwheel right here. We're going to start with gameplay. Now, everybody has their own personal preference when it comes to flying planes and driving tanks, whether they wish to have it inverted or not. You have your three options right here. Can have them off, on, or you can have it customized. Now, scrolling down on to this next setting is capture area outline. Now, this is very handy to have for playing modes such as capture the flag, for example. They kind of keep you informed as far as what's going on in the map. Now, scrolling on down to infantry sensitivity, I'm going to go ahead and have this scrolled maxed out to 100. I know everybody's going to be a little bit different, and especially if you're starting out, going with the default. Me personally, I'm going to just leave this up to 100. Now, for your forward sprint, you have three options. For your options, you can leave it off. You can have just regular sprint, or you can have it on automatic. Now, for these other settings right here, such as your crouch, vault, sprint into a door, these I just kind of leave on as is for the time being. Now, one of the better options to have right here is going to be your mount breakout. Now, this right here, I leave it on instant, especially if you are aiming down with your gun and you're behind some coverage. Leaving this on instant is going to be one of the best things to have that quick reaction. Whether if you're getting shot and the vehicle's coming after you, buildings are breaking down, if you want to get away super fast, instant's going to be your thing. Now, for interact and reload, I have this prioritized for my setting for prioritized reload first, and then it will combo over into interacting with doors or any other items that are along the map, but always reload your gun first. Now, scrolling on down, especially since we're all going to be starting out, I leave the vehicle sensitivity for your helicopters and anything else you're planning to drive. I kind of leave these off as is on the default for the time being. I have everything off for now, but as you know, more time and everything else kind of gets into the game itself, can always adjust as is. For controllers, aim assist, I'm currently leaving it on for the time being. I know most players will tend to leave this down all the way to 0. So if you don't need that extra help, and when it comes to fighting off enemies and everything else, and you want everything to be your own natural ADS, that would be the better option to have. Now, for our next setting, let's start with controller settings. These are going to be optimized for quick reaction, precise aim, and smoother tracking. Now, for your presets, there are various different options that will kind of give you the breakdown whether you're on Xbox, PlayStation. So whether you're as a soldier, in vehicles, aircraft, gunners, transports, and other helicopters. Now, to access your dead zones and everything else, you want to hit edit settings. Not presets, but edit settings. Here, we're going to go and scroll all the way down. This stuff right here, don't worry about too much. I'd just leave it as is. But basically, for your controller tunings, whether you're on Xbox or PlayStation, this is the section you're going to want to go to. Now, for here, I have controller vibrations off because Nobody likes to have a controller shaking while you're in a gunfight or aiming down. It's super annoying. For dead zones, I have my left and right sticks down to 13. I leave the axle dead zones and max input threshold as is. For your triggers, for the dead zones, I have them down to 0 and max to 5 on both my left and right. Gyro, I never really use, so I go ahead and have that disabled. And that's pretty much self-explanatory for the flick modes and everything else with the vehicles. Now for mouse and key, everything else, I know there's a lot of hardcore mouse and key players. Everything else here in these settings, it's pretty much self-explanatory, so you just adjust as is. We're going to go ahead now and go to graphics. Now for graphics, you have various options. You can customize, you can leave everything balanced. Me, I leave it on performance. Only reason why is because I don't want to deal with any lag issues. I want to try to have everything as smooth as possible while I'm trying to be competitive and trying my best to stay alive in Battlefield. For graphics, you can go ahead and modify. Nothing right here. So if there's something else that you do wish to customize, you can switch on over. I really don't touch with it, but if there's something when you're playing on a PC, such as this or anything else, you can adjust as is. Back to graphics. Sorry, it's a little finicky with the settings. So we're gonna scroll on down. Now for FOV. FOV, I usually tend to leave between 90 and around 110. But for those that like the max field of view, you can have it maxed out to 120. The only issue is players in the horizon, snipers, for example, you'll have a hard time seeing. So you can go ahead and play as is. For vehicles, I want to kind of see as much terrain as possible, so I have this maxed out to 83 and wide. Nobody really likes motion blur and weapon blur. It just looks funky. And for the camera shake amount, there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of stuff going on. Minimize this to at least 20. Everything else here, I just kind of leave the same. I'm usually streaming, so I don't have to worry about this too much. So I kind of leave as is, and same with these other interface and HUDs. For icons, you can also go scroll on down to crosshairs and indicators. Click modify. Now for here, you can adjust how big, how small, the intensity for your crosshairs. You can even change your colors as well. So you can scroll up, you can scroll down, you can pick any color you wish. If you want to go with a basic white, I like teal. So I'm gonna go with this for here. Sorry. Back to graphics, crosshairs. Now for myself, originally the hit color and the headshot color are both white. And myself, I like to have different colors to kind of help indicate for myself. It's the little things, but when you're shooting at somebody, you'll get blue shots. If you're hitting somebody in the head for a headshot, I like red. Stands out, so I know, for myself at least, when I'm aiming and shooting at somebody, at an enemy player, this personally helps me a lot. You can always change the colors and everything else. Armor broken hit indicator, I leave on. Everything else I pretty much don't touch, but if you do wish to, this will be the category and section to go ahead and do that. Now for graphics, I think that should be it. If you wish to deal with chat, you can go ahead and hit this section right here, and it can basically, you can adjust as is. Now for audio. Audio, you have your various different options right here: headphones, stereo, mono. I just leave it on automatic. For default mix. Now this is different music styles and everything else when it comes to even some like this right here, the war tapes that you heard from the trailers and everything else, kind of give you that raw. I mean, different type of noise and everything else. If you wish to hear anything as far as adjusting, that's going to be up to your personal preference. Me, I'm just going to leave it as default mix. Audio in the background, I leave off. Music off, anything when it comes to something like that. I just personally, especially when I stream, I don't want to kind of get hit with copyrighted music potentially, so I just don't deal with it. Here you can have enable voice chat on, you can leave it off. You can switch your key bindings to anything else. I have this as my mixer setup, so I have that. I know everybody else will be a little bit different and have it set to default, but if you do wish to access something like that, you'll have different input and output options there available. Accessibility, tetanitis, this you can always adjust, especially when you're getting hit with flashbang grenades, for example. That's something right there you can go ahead and use. You can have your subtitles, change the settings there, and also, like I said earlier, I have music off. I know when you're hopping in different vehicles, when you're playing with friends, when you're playing with randoms, there's going to be so much going on, and me personally, since I'm also streaming and I like to try my best to pay attention, I just have music off. For system. Now these right here is a nice feature, especially for those who are streaming. You can show your player created content. Command on console. Here's another nice option as well for those who are creators. You can enable or disable, change up, your battlefield ID so you can stay hidden, and hopefully it helps as far as at least with stream snipers and whatnot. Mini map. Here you can go ahead and modify. Here I leave view rotation on. So basically the map will rotate to wherever you're aiming, wherever you're walking. And if you want to make it difficult, you can leave it off, but me, leave everything as is, leave it on, keep it simple. Controls. This right here is like another quick section. So everything that we kind of explained and shown as far as what to interact with and not, here's like another section where you can go ahead and access something to adjust with. Now network, everything else, this I don't really need to touch. And legal, that's pretty much nothing that we need to deal with. Yeah, but other than that, those are what I feel as the best Battlefield 6 settings tested, tuned for smoother aim, better reaction, and max clarity. So if this has helped you out, please drop a like, comment on your favorite weapon in the beta so far. Catch you in Battlefield. Stay sharp. You guys take care. Peace.